anyway, it is 12, so let's get started and hopefully she will join us soon. So everybody, this is Stephanie from Good Loop. So I just wanted to introduce you to her. I'm going to tell you, I met Stephanie and Jennifer at a CGOA conference probably 2 years ago. Where were we? I don't even remember. Phoenix? No, Phoenix was Creativation.
No, it was last year at Manchester.
Was it last year? God, it feels like it. Oh, you know why? Because we skipped a year. Okay, so it was last year at Manchester, and I think I was like totally hyper and exhausted by the time I met you guys, because I watched my live video back and I'm like the whole time in your booth. But I checked out the yarns and I loved them, and you guys gave me some beautiful yarns to play with, and I made this shawl, the Polyantha Rose Garden shawl. And it wasn't until later that I realized that we're actually in several groups on Facebook together. So we actually like knew each other before we met each other, which was hilarious. So I was going to ask you, tell me about how you met Jennifer and how you guys ended up working together on Good Loop.
Okay, so she stalked me. No joke.
That sounds about right.
It's not a joke. Both of us have our own different brands. I have It's Crochet O'Clock, which is a YouTube channel, and Jennifer has the Yarn Room, which is her brick and mortar yarn store in Pretoria. But she had decided that she was going to do wholesale, and she had gotten the wholesale account from Nurturing Fibers for the United States. And she was looking for influencers in the United States to help her get into local yarn stores.
Okay.
So years ago, my Kiwi bestie, Maxine, who is actually born in England, raised in South Africa, and immigrated to New Zealand, sent me my first South African yarn, and I went nuts over it. And I used to review it and talk about it all the time on my blog and on my Facebook and on my channel. So that's how she found me, and she started sending me these emails, just these random emails talking about this. And I thought that she was like some Nigerian prince. So I was literally deleting her emails.
Yeah.
And completely ignoring her, because nobody's got time for this, right?
Right.
So then I suffered a loss of that person in your life that brought out the creativity in you, that taught you, that person that brought you to fiber and that particular brand of art. She died very, very suddenly. She was diagnosed with uterine cancer on Wednesday. She was scheduled for surgery on Monday, and on Saturday she was gone. And I struggled. So I went off the grid completely for months. And then I posted on my blog talking about it, and me trying to struggle to get back into being creative and doing things. And there is a painting called First Day in Heaven, and it's by an Egyptian artist. And I posted a picture of it, and it spoke to Jennifer, and she had subscribed to my blog on my email list. So she got my blog, and she read that, and she always says that when she saw that painting, it just spoke to her, and she felt led that she needed to call me, or she needed to try her best to get in touch with me. And that's when she sent me a Facebook message. And then I saw that she was a real person. Yeah. So that started, and then a year and a half, almost 2 years later, we opened up Good Loops, because that's how long it took us to get all of our ducks in a row, because importing is hard.
Yes, I can imagine.
And the first time we ever met each other in person and stood in the same airspace together was at Manchester, the Crochet Guild of America conference.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
We had never met each other. We had never been around each other. And we launched a business. Yeah, we launched a business.
That is exciting.
Yeah. Oh. She stalked me.
Oh. Yeah. She lives in South Africa, but she is Venezuelan. Is that correct? Or no?
She is, and she says that she is here now, but she doesn't know how to ask to join.
I don't see her as an attendee though. I just see the two of us. I'm looking and there's 0 attendees.
She might just be on Facebook instead of Zoom. Jennifer, you have to be in the Zoom lobby.
Jennifer's on Facebook, yeah. She's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Hi, Jennifer.
She is, and here she goes.
I'm here!
You're here! Hi! You made it! We've only been talking about you.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
She might
You're
just
fine.
be on Facebook instead of.
Oh, I gotta turn off my volume on my computer.
Or that might be Jennifer unmuted.
I've also turned it off on mine. So now.
Okay. It's okay. We're all here. We're all good. So we have been talking about how the two of you met and how Good Loop started. And I was just asking, so you live in South Africa, correct?
I do.
Okay. And Nurturing Fibers is from South Africa, which I didn't know until recently, right?
That's right. Yeah, I've been living in South Africa for 20 years. At the end of November, this coming November, and we came here because of my dad's work. So I was born in Venezuela, but my family's comes from we have a little bit of everything mixed into our family, and because of my dad's work, we ended up here. And it was about maybe almost close to 8 years ago that I got into yarn. Okay. And I realized how amazing the South African yarns are. And because a lot of my family lives in the US and my mom's American, she was born in Indiana, I get to travel there a lot. And I started seeing and looking and yarn store crawling, and that South African yarns are not well known in the US at all.
Not at all. And I didn't know. I worked with the Nurturing Fibers, the Super Twist sock for that shawl. And I loved it. It was fabulous. And I had no idea. I'm sure you guys told me when I was in your booth, but I forgot. I had no idea it was from South Africa. I was just like, it's a cool yarn. But I'm really excited to hear about the eco cotton because I heard there was a story behind that. And I haven't had a chance to work with that yet. So tell me about that.
Okay, Steph, I think it's your favorite, so I think you should tell about it.
Well, it's because it changed my mind, because as an American, what we are used to is the cotton that you buy in the big box stores, and to me, it just feels like sandpaper, and my skin is very sensitive, and it actually hurts me to crochet. So I loathed cotton, would not use it. And when Jennifer got in touch with me, I was like, come on, lady. I'm sorry. While my mouth can tell a lie, my face cannot. And I don't know if I can do that. But she sent it to me, and this is not your mama's cotton. This is the softest cotton I have ever held in my hands, and I get upset if I have to crochet with anything else. No joke, I do.
So now
this and EcoFusion. Well, this and EcoFusion. EcoFusion is a 50-50 blend of cotton and bamboo. It's marl, so it's glorious. You get the super soft of the cotton, and then you get the super shine of the bamboo mixed in it, and then that beautiful, gorgeous drape. Oh, yes, it converted me. So that's why I always talk about it, because it's very hard to get people to want to reach out, and because we're not in big box stores, and you can't touch it, and it's hard to take a chance on something that you cannot squish yourself.
And I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it in your booth, and I touched it, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. And then I was the same way. I'm like, but cotton's not really my thing, and I'm gonna go with the merino. But now I'm thinking, at some point I'm gonna have to get some of that and try it, because it was very soft when I felt it.
It is. And it's like nothing that you have ever used before. I try to stress it so much because it just give it a chance. Just give it a chance, because it's really nothing like what we are used to here in America, or even in Canada. It's nothing like we're used to.
Absolutely. And what I want to add is that it's grown in South Africa, it's spun in South Africa, and it's hand-dyed here as well. And it's all done by smaller manufacturers that have a really big, they spend a lot of time and
you cut out a little bit. You cut out a little bit. Say that again. It's done by small manufacturers.
That have a great interest in the communities that they support and that they impact. So it's not only a great product, but it's a product that you can feel good about supporting.
Because it has a positive impact on the community and small businesses. That's great. That's great to hear. And I didn't know this, and this is why I was talking to Stephanie, and this is actually why I wanted to do this kind of interview, is because you see these products online or in the stores and you don't know the stories behind them, you know? It's like, I wouldn't know that I'm supporting small businesses in South Africa. So so that's really cool.
To add to the ad is it's not just impacting the small businesses and in the economy and the communities. It's also impacting the environment, because some yarns are, and the dyeing process can sometimes be not all that great for our environment. But they all take very, very good care to recycle everything that they can. They're super careful with what they're using on their crops. They're super careful with how they're treating their animals, and it's monitored. Carly she's that person that kind of hovers, but she's an angel when she does it. You know, she'll just randomly show up. Hi, how you doing?
she's like, not micromanaging, but she's got her fingers.
You need to do that in this day and age. If you are going to put your name on a product and put your name behind a product, if we want to be conscious about what we are doing and how we are impacting the world, those are things that you have to do. And that's why I love Nurturing Fibers and why I attach my name to it, because I believe in what they do.
Because we need to remember that products have people behind them, you know? I mean, it's not just a thing that magically appears. There's people that make it. What were you saying, Jennifer? I cut you off.
Sorry. I think we live in a time where it's no longer, we can no longer afford to not pay attention to where our products are coming from. And we, both Steph and I, are passionate about people and their stories. And in a way, that's what connects us, because we, in our lives, we want to connect to the person beyond anything else, and we are fascinated by the path that they have traveled in life, and that's actually the backbone of our business, and why we are Good Loops, Good Yarn, and great people, because the yarn is just as important as the people that manufacture it, that make with it, and all that.
Yeah, and that's important. I think that is something that we're just starting to learn to take more into consideration when we're making buying choices. And I heard, because I've been following you guys on Facebook, that you just got a couple of big shipments in. So you're all fully stocked, so everybody should go, and if you want the colors you want all the choice, you should go today and go buy it before it gets sold out again.
Listen, as the person over here who runs the warehouse, I was stressing. And then I was making Jen stress as the person on the other side that handles all of that other mess. The COVID lockdown was just crazy, and me and Jen were both just, is it time yet? Is manufacturing open again in South Africa? Have we gotten a plane? It's been sitting there for 3 days. Really? Why can't we get a plane? Yeah.
Well, Well, that being said, we have a very, very nice list going, okay?
Okay.
And you might or might not have heard of it. It's called our special request list. And what happens when you send us an email, it doesn't get lost in cyberspace. Actually, it goes onto a very specific app called Trello, and it's at the very top of our wholesale ordering platform. And then we put your name, your request, and the type of yarn and color that you want in quantities to make sure that at no point you are forgotten or left behind.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good. Yeah, that's exciting. So definitely go check it out. And if something does happen to be out of stock, put your name on the list and they'll get it for you. And I have the links in the description on this video on both Facebook and Zoom. So go check it out. And if you want to make this shawl, that is my Polyantha Rose Garden shawl, and it's made with the Nurturing Fibers Super Twist sock, which is fantastic. I loved that yarn. It is so soft. It's like working with silk, you know? Like it's really soft and squishy, and it's got a lot of, I feel like it's got a really high twist, so it's really bouncy. You know, like it just, when I was actually making it, it was half that size because it all just curled up and like scrunched together. And then when I blocked it, it became so much bigger. So yeah, go check it out. They've got some great products. And is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I'm out of questions.
A big benefit to Nurturing Fibers and how Carle is the owner of Nurturing Fibers. We're just a distributor of Nurturing Fibers. If there is a color, like the plant-based are one color group, so that's the cotton and the bamboo. And there's 4 different types of that: 100% cotton, 100% bamboo, 50-50, and then 60-40. All of that group has its own colors, and most of them translate across all of them. With the animal fibers, it's the same thing. They may be named something a little different, but if you see something in Super Twist sock or the lace weight, there's a corresponding color for it in Kid Silk Mohair.
Oh, nice.
So it works very, very well together. We learned that. Well, I mean, we knew it, but it didn't click as an important thing until we were at Vogue Milan in January. And there was a designer that had designed a sweater that used lace weight and then mohair together. And everybody was running around trying to find it, and people just swarmed our booth because we had both. They were the same colors, and we had, more important, solid colors. Yeah. Because lots of merino dyers, bless their hearts, I mean, it's fun to just make all of the speckles and all of the crazy colors all together and see what you can do. It's fun, and solids are less fun. We have so many solids.
Yeah, because as a designer, it's harder to figure out what to do with a self-striping or speckled colorway. It's like, no, but I have this idea in my head, and you're giving me this very specific color to work with, you know, color progression to work with, and that may not fit the idea in my head. You know that because you design too, right?
Both of us do, and that's why one of my duties within Good Loops is I deal with the influencers and I deal with the designers, and I do not believe in curated influencer and designer kits. I do not. I will not do it because I believe I've been there. I am there on that side of it, and the yarn is what inspires you. Right. All of us, you see something and you fall in love with it, and instantly the gears just start turning, and it may be the color or the fiber compound that makes it happen. And I fully believe that is what creates the most beautiful projects. And above all, because we're all about people first before everything, I want you guys to enjoy it. Right. So
it was a very enjoyable experience, the whole start to finish working with you guys on this. So I was really happy with that.
The one thing I do want to add is about the quality of yarn that you can expect from the animal fibers. So most people don't know this, but there's the South African merino, superfine merino, and the South African mohair is some of the top in the world.
Mhm.
And so what people don't realize is a lot of the big name brands that you're already used to working with, they all get their yarns from South Africa, from the big spinners that are in a town called Port Elizabeth,
Okay.
in the Eastern Cape, on the southern, quite south, on the Indian Ocean. And so it's actually yarns that you might already know without realizing it. And
Yeah.
because are dyeing and manufacturing, well, we are manufacturing there in PE, but it's all dyed in South Africa, our overheads are lower. That is why we're able to offer the same product, but at a slightly lower price point. Often there's an idea that if the price point is slightly lower, it's not that great a quality.
Right.
But actually you're buying exactly the same yarn. So that's the last thing I wanted to say. I wanted to add, I think we didn't mention that, but it's actually really important.
Awesome. And I know with natural fibers, specifically merino, which is,
You guys are frozen.
I spin also, and merino is my go-to as a natural fiber. And I know you have to be so careful where you source it because of questions of how the animals are treated as well. And
Absolutely.
I know that some of the processes that are not so great are not allowed in South Africa.
No, we have a great constitution and we have a great animal rights movement.
Mhm.
We have great systems in place in general that protect people, they protect the workers, they protect the animals, they protect the process in general. And there's lots of checks and balances.
So you can be confident that that the animals are well treated, you know?
Absolutely. And yeah, everything and everyone is well treated from the start to the end.
Great.
Listen, and then if there's ever any question, there's always Carly, who randomly just shows up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've got to meet her sometime. I haven't.
I'm sure you will.
Yet. Yeah, we got to meet sometime. Well,
I've never met Carly.
Really? All right. Well, you have to meet her first, and then I'll meet. I heard Stephanie was telling me that I met you the same day she met you at the same conference.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We met today, and it was. I mean, it was like we'd known each other our whole lives, and it was awkward for one instant when I realized that she's a lot shorter than I thought she was. She's even shorter than I am, which is, quite short.
Hey, you guys weren't that short.
We hugged each other, and then it was like we'd always known each other. Yeah.
That's so awesome. So I got to put my little plug in for CGOA, bringing people together from around the world to meet at the conferences.
Absolutely.
If you crochet and you are not in the CGOA, go to crochet.org because you should be in the CGOA. I think if you crochet, the CGOA is for you. And with that little plug, I will end this meeting. Thank you guys for your time coming out here and talking with me. And everybody go check out Good Loops, fabulous stuff. And I hope that I will be working with you more too and have more patterns and designs and activities with you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.